And here we go. Welcome back to episode 13 with your host, Brantt Myhres from UnHammered. And another week's gone by. How many of you have stayed unhammered for the week? As we do every week, we check in and people write in and, I get the whole day at a time, but we're doing a week at a time here on the show if you can. And I made a commitment to myself to hit a meeting, in which I did, and do the same old things that have kept me another week sober, which I fucking love sobriety. I really do. It's just given me so much in my life to be grateful for. And so hopefully, we've got some good messages on people that have stayed unhammered. I like that hashtag now. I've stayed unhammered for another week or whatever it may be, and we'll get to those. How was your guys' week? You guys have a good week? Any curveballs thrown your way, like we chatted about a couple episodes ago? Sorry. Did I have any curveballs? You know what? The fucking pitches were pretty much down whatever they call it, down the middle. Right in the catcher's mitt. I didn't have any curveballs or softballs thrown at me. So that was good. I got to focus on a little Kaner. I'm not allowed to call him Kane anymore. It's funny, because I've been calling him Buds. And if I call him Bud without the Z or the Z, as you say it, he gets mad. Daddy, no, Buds. So I got to call him Buds from now on. But everybody else can call him Kane. So sorry, Buds. What else we got going on? Did you guys see the recent video of Post Malone chatting with somebody from CBS News? I believe it was CBS. Anyways, we're going to actually cheers again, everyone, to another week. 13. Holy shit. All right, here we go. Oh, boy, I love coffee. Anyways, back to Posty. I saw this video and he was chatting about how, I think it was like in 2021, so like 3-4 years ago, he was really fucking depressed. And he was chatting about going to bed at night, crying, drinking, and then waking up in the morning, having a good cry and drinking again to get on with his day. I don't know what the gentleman's issue was, but during the interview, he was drinking a beer. I know that. And he didn't look sober. So it just made me sort of sad. I don't know the whole situation. All I know is that he said that he went to bed drinking and he woke up drinking, and then he was crying. And then he had a beer in the video, in the interview. Never seen that. Maybe a couple rock stars, with having a smoke and a beer, yeah. But been a while. Sorry, one more sip. So anyways, hopefully he's doing great. I love him. I fucking love Posty. He's awesome. What a good soul that man is. And I don't know if he's ever tried sobriety or not. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Congrats to the gentleman wrote in, and where is it here? His name is Kevin S. And congrats to Kevin. So Kevin, he said, I hit 60 days unhammered as well. Thank you for episode 12. Have a great week. Kevin in Montreal. So, hey, buddy, congrats to you, man. 60 days. That's awesome. Awesome. And then another guy wrote in an interesting question and a segue into what I'd like to chat about. So this guy's name is Ryan. And Ryan said that he listened to the Price episode. I love how you're bringing the steps into this and how important step one actually is. Yeah, it's really important, Ryan. Took me 5 years on going to meetings. Anyways, he has a question. Ryan has a question, and question for you. I lost 3 of my best friends from addiction in early sobriety, which hit hard, and as I drank and used with them all. I often wonder why I was spared and they died. Can you relate to that? And if so, how do you cope with the loss of people so close? I have just over 15 years being clean and sober, but really I just have today. Wow, man, that's amazing, Ryan. Thank you for writing in. So yeah, but as we chat about in this podcast, that this is a serious fucking deal, and unfortunately, the numbers they told me in treatment were 4 out of every 100 people that go to rehab stay sober a year. Yeah. So when they told me that, I said, I want to be the 4%. I said, I want to be that 4%. I don't give a fuck what the odds are. And that's the thing with this sucker is you can't care what the odds are. And you can't care if so-and-so's relapsing down the street and so-and-so's not getting it. And so-and-so dies. So-and-so dies. It's between you or between me and God at that point, and I have to humble myself to realize that this thing is again way stronger than me. And it's proven that, and I'm sure it's proven it to you guys on the old willpower thing. So yeah, so let's chat about a story. So when I was in Los Angeles, I was at a sober living place, and it was what was it called? It was called Herbert House. Shout out Herbert House. I love that place. Anyways, I was there for, I believe, 6 or 7 months in sober living. Excuse me while I have one more. Hopefully you guys don't mind that. So, you know what? No, you guys might be having a coffee too. Hold on a sec. Anyways, I was in sober living in Los Angeles, and I think I was in stage 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was stage 3, 6 months. Suspension. Anyways, so I walk into Herbert House and I'm nervous, I don't know what to expect. And I walk in and I see this skinny guy with long hair. He almost looks like he's from Motley Crue, and he's playing the guitar. And I said, "Hey man, I'm Brantt. Nice to meet you." He said, "Hey bro, I'm Derek, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Oh, nice." I said, "Wow, you're really ripping that guitar. Like, everything okay?" And he's like, yeah. No, things are fine. I'm just, been struggling with heroin and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I get it. So anyways, we're sitting there, and he said, "I used to play for a band. I used to fill in for 9 Inch Nails or something like that." And I was like, "Well, that's cool. I'm on my 3rd suspension, and blah, blah, blah." So anyways, long story short, we became best buddies, me and Derek, and we'd go to AA meetings together, and we'd be driving, and I'd never forget, like a song would come on the radio and Derek would say, "Pull over, I want to, write something down." And then we'd get home and he'd play the whole guitar riff. He was just extremely talented. So anyways, I believe it was at 6 months, I heard the news that Derek was getting ready to leave. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well that's, he's been here a while, and he's ready to go home." So he's with his girlfriend, and they leave. And I think wasn't that much longer. Might have been a couple weeks. And I got a message from Derek, and he says, "Myhres, can you call me, please? I'm not feeling good." I said, "Yeah, man, I'll call you." And so anyways, I call him, and no answer. What the fuck's going on here, man? "Derek, it's Myhres. Call me back, man. I'm trying to get a hold of you." So anyways, that was the last time that I ever talked to Derek. They found him that morning overdosed with a needle in his arm in, I believe it was a hotel room. And that really broke my heart. I never really was close with anybody that overdosed or died. And that one took me by storm. So anyways, Derek didn't make it, and Derek died with a needle in his arm, and miss that guy. So yeah, I don't know how you deal with it other than keep your spiritual side of the street clean. It's all you can really do, and if somebody needs help them, If somebody needs help, help them. Don't fucking question it, because you might not be talking to them tomorrow. That's the reality of it. Here we go. Ryan D wrote in and said, I've stayed UnHammered and enjoyed the last episode. Cool. So I remember my first time trying cocaine. I was 25 and I loved it. Me too. I was out by the pool with some friends listening to music, and we did a line in the garage. I remember just being real chatty and thinking it was the best feeling ever. Yeah, I know. I couldn't stop fucking talking either. I wanted to feel like that all the time. Wow, Ryan. Me too. I think a lot of people wanted to, bottle that feeling up and keep it. Unfortunately, it doesn't last that long, and you're chasing the fucking dragon. Here we go. But when it was gone, it was an awful feeling. The obsession of wanting to do it again and again. I too went from feeling amazed to feeling down and depressed. Yeah, man, I get it. It's that drug that does it. Alcohol, you get sort of hammered and just pass out, But with some of these drugs, there's something in them. It's like a fucking gambling, sense that goes off, that you just got to bet it all. And that's the wild part of it all. Gentleman wrote in named Brendan. Hey, Brendan, how you doing, bud? Got the book when it came out. Really enjoyed it. Cool. Thank you. Talk about my trauma as a child. And what else, sir? I don't want to read that part. A little bit too deep. Anyways, but listening to your podcast really flipped a switch for me. I'm just getting ready to go to sleep, having completed my first week completely alcohol-free. Yes. Attaboy, Brandon. Been sleeping better, feeling better, working out better. Everything is better. Wow. That's a great line. I have been building to this in my head for a long time. Your podcast has been a catalyst for me to put my thought into action. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're tuning in. As I've mentioned, that's the kind of stuff, that keeps me going, keeps me wanting to hit the record button, as they say. Quick question to you guys. How many of you guys still hang out in bars and nightclubs? Man, that's an interesting one. I can do it today. When I think I would have been 7 years sober, I went to Vegas with a bunch of animals for my 40th, and they were all boozing, and actually some of them were fucking bumping in the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Here's what helped me. I had a sober friend with me, and did I have two? Because there was like seven guys there. I had two sober friends with me that whole weekend, and I compensated. I was drinking like 10 Red Bulls a day and going to bed late and getting up early and going by the pool, and they were all drinking early in the morning. And then, I'd start drinking Red Bulls. So anyways, I haven't had a Red Bull since then, you guys. I had a fucking panic attack when I got back. I think I drank 35 Red Bull in 3 days. I don't recommend it at all, and I've never touched another one. But as far as hanging out in nightclubs, I just don't, for me personally, I have nothing against them. I love going to a nice restaurant or a lounge and having a nice dinner. If somebody's drinking wine or whatever they're drinking, it does not bother me today. I don't want to drink, so it doesn't bother me. But when you're early in sobriety, I did not go out to a bar or a nightclub in 1 year. I didn't. And then when I did in year 2, I briefly went. As they say, you hang out in a barber shop long enough, you're going to get a fucking haircut. And it's mostly true, so I just stayed away from the temptation. I'm like, why am I going to tempt myself? And when I went in year 2, I went very briefly. I might have went to the strippers with a buddy and drank Diet Coke. Didn't stay long. Didn't go back for a few years. It just sort of lost its appeal to me. So I was just wondering about you guys. How many of you guys still hang out in bars, nightclubs? Which, nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know, I was just wondering about that because I've had some people ask me about it, and I generally don't do it. So another thing too is this is a big one for me and maybe you guys too. How many of you guys find excuse me, working out help your sobriety, your recovery, and how important is it to your recovery? Wow, this one was really big. As I mentioned in Astoria Point, I walked in there and I was when you're in the depths of your addiction, you were literally not feeling good about any part of your life. And I definitely wasn't feeling good physically. I got up to about close to 260 pounds. I never looked in the mirror. So when I went in, I said, you know what? I know how I feel when I work out, and I feel great when I work out. So, Mize, what you're going to do is you're going to work out, and you're going to lose some weight, and you're going to commit to yourself that you're going to do this, along with your sobriety. And that was 2008. And so what happened was I lost 30 pounds in might have been 10, 20, I don't know, maybe 4 months, 5 months. I lost 30 pounds. And all of a sudden, I was actually turning the light on in the mirror. I was turning the light on in the bathroom. When I'd get out of the shower, I'd dry off and I'd look at myself in the mirror. And that didn't happen for fucking years. So that was a really cool feeling. And it's pivotal for me, and I believe that if you're on the fence about working out, walking, running, eating better, training, sleeping better, et cetera, just do it. Don't fucking talk about it with your friends. You don't need them to hold your hand. Just go and do it. Set an hour aside for yourself once every second day. I didn't work out yesterday, but today, I went to the gym and I grinded out an hour and 10 minutes. Did I want to do it? Yeah, I did. I did want to do it. You know why? Because I like the way I feel. It's not a fucking chore. It hurts. I'm sore. I feel sore, and but it ain't a chore. I enjoy working out. So I try to average 4 days a week. At 50 years old, I try to still do it. So you guys write in, let me know how important is training for you and your physical activities that you guys do. I think it's 9.5 out of 10. So if you haven't done it yet, try it. Just try it. Try it for a month. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 workouts in a month. Try to average 45 minutes if you can. You'll feel better about yourself, especially when you go to bed at night. Okay, guys. So remember we were chatting about step 1 last week. So why don't we end it? And we are also chatting more about alcoholism and drug addiction too. Anyways, here we go. It was obviously necessary to raise the bottom the rest of us had hit to the point where it would hit them. By going back in our drinking or drugging histories, we could show that years before we realized we were out of control. That our drinking or drug use even then was no mere habit. That indeed, it was the beginning of a fatal progression. Oh man, you guys, I love it when they get starting, talking like that kind of stuff. Fatal. Let's read that again. That it was indeed the beginning of a fatal progression. I agree. To the doubters, we could say, perhaps you're not an alcoholic or a drug addict after all. Well, why don't you try some more controlled drinking or drug use? Bearing in mind, meanwhile, that what we have told you about alcoholism or drug addiction. Very true. This attitude brought immediate and practical results. It was then discovered that when one alcoholic or drug addict had planted in the mind of another the true nature of his malady or her malady, that person could never be the same again. Jesus Christ, never be the same again. Wow. Following every spree, he or she would say to himself or herself, maybe those AAs or NAs were right. After a few such experiences, often years before the onset of extreme difficulties, he or she would return to us convinced. They would return convinced that he had hit bottom, and truly, as any of us, John Barleycorn himself had become our best advocate. Wow. I really like that, you guys. I love it. This is a cool paragraph coming up here. Ready for this one? Why all this insistence that every AA or NA must hit bottom first? Question mark. Yeah, there's, man, that word bottom. The answer is that few people will sincerely try to practice the AA or NA program unless they have hit bottom. Wow. That is true. That is true. But again, what's your bottom, right? We chatted about it last week. What is do you still have that old rusty fucking shovel? Or have you, tossed it away? I don't know. I hope you have. I got rid of that thing. That thing was heavy and it stunk. Remember we chatted about honesty too, right? Last week. So who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Question mark. Not when you're in your disease. You don't. You are a liar. Who wants to confess his or her faults to another and make restitution for harm done? Question mark. See, this is all about accountability, you guys. This is all accountability. And it's taking responsibility for your actions. Don't blame your mother, your father, grandma, grandpa, teacher, business partner. Don't blame anybody for what you've done. So anyways, where else we got here? That was good. Who cares anything about a higher power? Oh boy, we're going there already? Let alone meditation and prayer. Who wants to sacrifice time and energy in trying to carry AA or NA's message to the next sufferer? This is about getting out of yourself. Because we're selfish people in our disease. We're so selfish. No, not the average alcoholic or drug addict. Self-centered in the extreme. Doesn't care for this prospect. Unless he has to do these things in order to stay alive himself. Woo! They're knocking it out of the park in the first chapter, in the first step. My God, there's 12 of these, right? There's 12. Woo! I love it. Yeah, what time we got here? Can't even see. Maybe I need to up these blue blockers to like 2.0s. I don't know. But whatever. Who cares what time we're at? More about alcoholism. What do you guys think? Remember, Blue Book, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Just read a little bit. Why not? Got time, don't you? I do. Okay, more about alcoholism and drug addiction. Despite all we can say, many are real let's start that, you guys, again. Sorry, I got grade 9. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics or addicts are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule. Therefore, non-alcoholic, non-drug addict. If anyone who is showing the inability to control his or her drinking can do the right about face thing and drink like a gentleman, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people! ! Isn't that the truth? Wow. This is cool. You guys ready for this one? This is a cool one. Here are some of the methods we have tried. Drinking beer only. Yep, I did. Limiting the number of drinks. Me too. Never drinking alone. Yep. Really? Never drinking in the morning. No, that's not. No, I've done that. Drinking only at home. No. Never having it in the house. Never drinking during business hours. Drinking only at parties. Switching from scotch to brandy. Tried that. Drinking only natural wines. Agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job. Yeah, I did that 5 times. Taking a trip, not taking a trip. Swearing off forever. Yeah. With and without solemn oath. Taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books. Going to health farms and sanitariums. Accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list ad infinitum. You sure could. You could increase that list 100%. Oh, I enjoy reading. I used to not really like it, but I do love reading this stuff. This is pretty much saved my life. So yeah, of course I like reading about it. One more sip, you guys. Cheers again. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to chat about a little bit of an insane story that I have. And it was back in 2000, and what year was this? 2002, 2003. I was playing for the Providence Bruins. And I relapsed at Christmas, and it was bad. It was a bad relapse. And anyway, so Mike Sullivan, who coaches for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I still think he does. Yeah. Sully, great guy. Fucking love Sully. Anyways, he never met a man like me before, and I had a way of like conning people. So the whole Boston Bruins organization thought that I was sober the whole year, and they put an assistant captain on my shirt. And, I guess I was sort of fooling them, if that's the right word, that I was sober the whole year. And, I'd show up at a game drunk, and I don't fucking know. Higher than a kite. Anyways, so the year goes by, and we were in playoffs, and I've written about it where it was the first time I played in a game drunk, where I couldn't skate, like literally. And so anyways, we lose out the series in Winnipeg, and we go back to Providence, Rhode Island. And I hear from the staff that we have a meeting with the head brass from the Boston Bruins organization. They're coming down, and they're going to meet with us. And Myhres, you're first. Myhres, you're first. You know why? Because you're the oldest. You're 28. I was 28 at the time. I said, yeah, no problem. So what do? There's a guy on our team, and his nickname was Sammy. And Sammy was a first-round pick that year. Sammy was a really good hockey player. Sammy scored 20 goals that year. Anyways, we leave, and we're, me and Sammy are close, but he's 20, right? I'm an old veteran or whatever. And I said, hey, Sammy, what are you doing? You want to go to Boston? Because I got to meet this guy to buy some cocaine. And I go, you want to come for the drive? And he goes, yeah, sure. So anyways, me and Sammy get in at the time, it was an X5, 2002 X5. And we start cranking the tunes, and we're driving. He goes, what are we doing? We're like, what are we doing in Boston? I said, I just got to meet a guy in the back alley. He's like, okay. So anyways, I meet this guy in the back alley, and get in, get the Coke or whatever, get back in, and we're driving back to Boston. Remember, we've got a meeting with the head brass from the National Hockey League at, I guess it was 9 o'clock in the morning. So we get this Coke, and he goes, Myhres, he goes, I know what you're doing. I go, what am I doing, man? He goes, you're doing cocaine. I said, yeah, actually I am. I said, have you ever done it? And he's like, no. Like, how does it make you feel? I said, oh, buddy, I said, you have no idea. I said, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to chop you up a line. I'm going to put on a little Elton John, and then we're going to light a cigarette together, and we're going to fucking sing the whole way home. That sounds good. So anyways, I chop this line up. This poor kid snorts this line of Coke back for the first time. And I put on Elton John, Candle in the Wind, baby. And we start driving back to Providence, and we're feeling it at this point. We're smoking darts. We get back to my place, and, he wants more. And so do I. So next thing I remember, it's about 8:15 a.m. The fireplace is going. Sammy's got these tissues stuffed in his nose because his nose is bleeding from doing too much blow. And he's got a washcloth on his forehead. I think he's overheating. And I go, Bud, time to get up. We got a meeting. We got to go to a meeting. So anyways, we get in the car. We head back to the rink, and I get in and I go to the bathroom, and I'm just fucking wired. And I'm taking a piss, and this guy walks in, and we had to autograph these hockey sticks when we walked in for the fans. So anyways, I'm signing or whatever, and I go to take a piss, and one of the teammates comes in. He goes, Myhres, was Sammy with you last night? And I'm like, yeah, why? he's like, fuck, man. He's like, his nose, he's like bleeding all over the hockey sticks. And I'm like, oh no, Sammy. So there he is. I take this 20-year-old out and, he's signing autographs, bleeding all over the hockey sticks. Fuck. So I walk into the room and I sit down, and there's Mike Sullivan. There's a general manager of the Boston Bruins, Mike O'Connell, I believe his name was. And assistant coaches, maybe a head scout. And I sit there and I've drank a bottle of Jack and I've done all this Coke. And the first thing out of Sully's mouth, poor guy, he goes, Mizey, I just wanted to tell you how proud we are of you. How proud we are that you were the leader that you were this year. And that how good you were with the young guys. I'm like, oh my God, how good I was with the young guys. Yeah, you know what, Sully, thanks, man. Like being sober this last year, it's like really given me a good perspective on my life. And, I'm just grateful that I was, an assistant captain and the young guys really took to me. So thanks for the opportunity. And I got up and I left and I got out of there. And I guess I got away with it again. I did, and it's fucking wild what this thing will do. And yeah, anyways, Sammy, if you're ever listening to this, I'm sorry, bud. I don't know how his career went, but poor guy was 20 years old hanging out with me. Not a good idea. But I'll tell you what is a good idea, that we all stay unhammered for one more week. How's that, you guys? And keep each other accountable and have an awesome week. Can't wait to see you again in 7 days, you guys. So again, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Okay, thanks. Take care.